How we doing, everybody?
Hola.
Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggy With It. I'm Mo.
I'm Adri.
And what are we doing today?
We're doing our top 25 games of all times.
According to us, not according to anybody else. Your opinions may vary.
Yeah.
See a doctor if it lasts more than 4 days. But yeah, so this is number 20 through number 16. If you missed 25 through 21, that video is up on the channel. You can go check that out. This is not quite the middle of the pack. It's still kind of the bottom level. We may eventually extend this to 50, which we probably will next year, or 100, depending how we feel. But this is our top 25. Now this, of course, is games that we've played or games that are in our collection. You can watch most of those videos here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe, bell notification, all that YouTube stuff.
Yes.
All right, so with that said, we're going to go ahead and start off with my number 20. My number 20 is Disney Sorcerer's Arena. So Disney Sorcerer Arena Epic Alliance is basically a versus game. Each party is going to have a team with asymmetric characters. Characters are going to have a deck for each one. You smash them together, a la smash up, mix them together, and then you are going to be playing those cards to either enhance or give you some type of benefit to the ability. So natively, you can just move and attack on your own, but you can also play these cards which may enhance your attack or enhance your move with some type of special power. For example, Maleficent has a card that says, shoot a lightning bolt everybody within a direct path of where she's standing, right? The objective of the game is to, of course, get the most points. I believe it's 15 points. Those points are gained by knocking out your opponents. Each opponent's worth a certain amount of points based on their hit points. Standing on 3 little crown locations in the middle gives you points at your turn when it starts. And that's one thing, is it is a turn order type game, so very reminiscent of the app. I played the app. I really like the app. I don't play it much anymore. Gotcha system where you have to just go in and try to pay money to unlock characters, to get more characters or the better characters or level. You hit that. See, I digress, but that's why I don't play it anymore. Most of those games anymore. But yeah, so you're basically going in turn order. Some of your characters also have negative effects and abilities, which can make them stronger, make them weaker, make it so they can't do as much. It's a very fun little game. We've never played that many head-to-head battle games. I don't think we've played many. This is probably one of the first few that we have. We played it, we played the expansion, we do have the other expansion we want to play. It's fun, right? And it's kind of easy. The OP also does this thing with a lot of their games now where they do a learning system. So it starts out easy, gets a little bit harder as you go, where you start adding more mechanics like upgrading your character, more abilities, using cards for abilities instead of just a normal attack and movement. It's Disney, which always makes it great, right? The theme is great. But yeah, it's a fun little game. Would like to try Unmatched, would like to try HeroClix, which are also very similar in that vein, where you're each taking a team and just battling against each other. Right now, all we've got is Disney Sorcerer Arena. So that is my number 20.
My number 20 is My Little Scythe. In My Little Scythe, you have beautiful miniaturas.
Miniaturas that we
painted. And we have a board. According to the dice, we place resources. We have apples and gems. And there are 4 areas with different colors, and then according to where they are, you want to go, and you can either go to the middle and take all of your resources to the middle. That's one way to win, right?
One way to get a trophy.
To gain a trophy. So the idea of this is, well, you have cards and you have a tableau that lets you take your actions. You can never repeat the same one. And so it could be moving, or it could be collecting the resources,
putting the resources out,
and
some type of an enhancement thing.
Yes, and then the first person who does it is going to gain 1 trophy, and I think it's 3 or 4
it's
trophies.
Without the expansion, it's 4 trophies that you need to get. And there's different trophies. So like one is winning a pie fight. One is first person
gaining this friendship.
Turning in 4 of a thing. Yeah, getting the friendship.
So if you give resources, you can give resources to the other person to increase your friendship. You can also upgrade No, yeah.
Yeah,
This-
upgrade is another way to get a trophy.
Upgrade
Yeah, so
your.
there's I think there's 8 different objectives.
Yeah, there is a lot to do. It's still, I would say, an easy game. Not simple, but it's not very difficult. And it is, of course, cute.
It's cute. Yeah, very, very simple game. But it does have a little bit of complexity, so it is kind of good for adults as well. But it is a good entry-level game where instead of going full-out Scythe, which we haven't tried yet, maybe we'll try it. We do get a lot of games from Stonemaier to preview. Maybe one time we'll preview Scythe on the channel. It is a good way to get into it. I believe some of the mechanics are similar. I don't know, we've never played Scythe. But yeah, trying to get the resources so that way you can create whatever you need to create, whether it's a pie, so you do a pie fight, or whether it's gems, so you can get a magical spell, while at the same time trying to avoid somebody coming over to you because you carry the resources, with your character.
You always walk with them.
You walk with them. So if somebody comes over to you and starts pie fight, and they win,
they steal your
you
resources.
take your resources. So it's a fun little game. We played it with my sister and her kids, and everybody had a good time playing it.
It's really pretty.
It's really pretty. So that
was my number 20.
Number 20. My little site. All right. So my number 19 is My Father's Work. So of course, if you saw our New to Us video, you can go back and check that out. You kind of can tell that all 10 made it into my top 25 because My Father's Work was my number 10. My Father's Work is a app-driven worker placement game where you are trying to complete your father's work. So on your turn, you're gonna have a couple different workers, but with miniatures. It's a very deluxeified game. Again, we love deluxeified games, deluxeified minis, and each one can do different things. So for example, your character, basically the scientist, can do pretty much anything and benefits from getting double resources if you were to go out into the village. If you do, for example, your spouse, she doesn't want to do the dirty stuff in the castle or in your manor, the scientific dirty stuff, I should say, not the other dirty stuff. People are probably getting the wrong idea on the thing. But she doesn't want to do the scientific experiments. It scares her. So you could actually lose her or your servants if you make them do scientific experimentation. You're going to go out, you're going to get your resources, and you're going to try to collect or complete certain objectives. You've got tracks where you can retain knowledge. So again, this is a generational type game. So you gain knowledge, you gain some type of experiment that you completed, and then those can carry over, some of them can carry over into the following generation, which is basically the following round. So there's I think there's 3 rounds and 3 sets in each round of beginning, middle, and end life of that individual. The other thing is it is app based. So there is an app that comes in that is basically story narration. It's honestly the only reason that this is probably as low as it is. I like the app. I think the app does a good job. It tells a story. There were a couple hiccups we had during gameplay based on components. It wasn't quite clear that we were supposed to do things, and we were like, whoops, and I had to do corrections during our playthrough. Right. But I think the one gripe for me is the same gripe that almost anybody has had about the game, and that it is overly wordy and a little bit long because of that. If you were to just kind of skim through and skip through, you could probably cut off a good 30 minutes to an hour, depending on player count. But as it sits, I think most people say that the game takes between 45 minutes to an hour and a half per player. That's the only reason it's as low as it is on my list. But it's a fun little game. Love the worker placement. Theme isn't really for Adri, I don't think, as much. It wasn't as spooky.
But I liked it. I was looking at. I don't see it here.
Yeah, it didn't make your top 25, but I forget where it was. It wasn't too low. I mean, that's starting at 101.
Because I had fun playing it.
Yeah, we had fun playing it. We will, of course, it's got 2 more campaigns. So of course, we will bring those other 2. I don't want to say they're campaigns, but 2 other stories, 2 other boxes of what you're going to do. And that's another thing. It's got a lot of longevity in it and a lot of replay value because every time you play is different. There were components in that first box we didn't even touch. Based on the decisions we made, based on the experiments we made, and so forth. So yeah, definitely looking to bring that back to the channel. So of course, hit subscribe. That way you can watch more of my number 19 game, My Father's Work.
My number 19 is Dragon Pets.
Dragon Pets.
Dragon Pets is a cute game that has little cards with cute, colorful. Well, not colorful, but each.
Colorful dragons.
Yeah, but they are all green or all blue or.
Ah, well, yeah, but that's colorful.
It's a colorful game. In this game, you need to you collect the cards and make combos, right?
Well, actually, they're tiles. They're little tiles.
Yeah, well, they are like this big card tiles. So in this game, you roll the dice, and it will tell you what row you can take your tiles from. Once you do that, that die that you chose to use is not going to be available for the next player to use. At the end, you are going to go. I think each card has coins on them,
Yeah,
so some of them have
Mm-hmm.
some of them have more than one. So you want to try to get those, then you win if you get more than the opponent.
Yep. So it's a little
cute.
puzzle
I
game.
like it.
How do I say this without hurting Adri's feelings? It just, again, I
You
think
already did.
Yeah, I think we mentioned, I don't know if it was in this video or the previous video, we're filming all our top 25 at one time because it's when we have time to do it, because we're adults and we have to work all day long. We can't do YouTube videos all day long. But I don't like samey games. Games that feel like they pretty much stay the same every time you play them. While the game itself changes, because where the dragons are and how you collect them and all that changes, the overall game is the same every time you play.
Well, yeah, but it's not too long, is it?
No, it's a pretty quick game. It's a good filler game, but it's not a game that I would be like, oh, let's pull out dragon pets. It just isn't.
I can picture you taking.
And then in the same vein, now that we've played another game, Sobek, I actually like it better. Even though it's the same thing, it's kind of the samey. One, it's got those player powers, the character powers.
Okay.
And two, they just released an expansion that we're going to be previewing at some point.
Yeah, that was a little bit more advanced.
There's a game that I feel is better than that, doing a very similar thing, right? So that's all. Just, I'm not really as big of a fan as Adri, but Adri does like dragon pets. It is her number
19.
19. All right. So my number 18 is a tiny epic game. Shocker. We do like our tiny epic games. This one is Tiny Epic Dungeons. So this is one of Gameland's more complex tiny epic games in that it has a little bit more overhead. In Tiny Epic Dungeons, it is like a dungeon crawler, any other dungeon crawler. The difference is, of course, Gameland puts it in a tiny little box. You are your adventurers. You each have your own player powers and player abilities. You have a resource, like I don't know what they call the lightning, but your power abilities. So like with a magician, I guess we would call it mana, and for a warrior, we'd call it rage. They don't call it that. It's just a power meter. And on your turn, you're going to go from tile to tile. As you go, you're going to flip over the tiles to explore new areas. When you do that, you can run into a trap, you can run into a goblin, or what have you. You're then going to roll your dice. You're going to choose which dice you need to use to attack. You can use your abilities to maybe modify your dice, but you don't get to use all of the dice. You only get to use one that has a number on it, and then any other dice that has a plus and a number on it. If say I rolled a 6 and a 6, I don't have 12. I have a 6 and a 6. I would need to modify that other 6 down to like a +3, so I could have 9, or vice versa. So that's a little bit how combat works. The minions have a chance to, of course, fight back. And you're just basically doing that. It's a dungeon crawl. You're going to run through the dungeon, try to find the boss's lair, and try to take the boss down. We've got the main game, the expansions, all the Kickstarter goodies that came with it, the nice big meeples. I like the meeples. It's got minis, and I'm actually kind of disappointed in the minis because of a game that was in my top 25 list. You can go back and watch it. After playing that game, I felt like I would have much rather had the meeples that you could attach the weapons to. I think they called them item meeples or something like that, versus the minis. And that's just me, and that's saying something because
he loves minis.
We love minis. We love to paint them. We love to paint them. We love to play with them. We like to. I said paint them twice. No, I said paint them 3 times. I said paint them 4 times. But yeah, so it's a well done production. Lots of variety, lots of variability in the different armor and weapons that you can collect. There's weapon sets. The different main bosses are all different. And then they even have a like extended dungeon mode where you have to go through multiple floors to get down to the big baddie. That's for those of you that are really dedicated and have a day to spend delving through a tiny epic dungeon. See what I did? All right. But that was my number 18.
My number 18 is Disney Sorcerer's Arena.
Ooh, we have a crossover.
We do.
We do. That was my number 20.
Yeah.
I just talked about that.
So in this game, you have a character with an acrylic standee.
Oh, I didn't mention the acrylic
Did I say
standees.
that right?
Yeah, acrylic standees.
That is very good, very nice, well done, and it has the back part of the characters, which
Yeah, it's the front and the back. Yeah, because sometimes the acrylic standees, they just put the front on both sides. And then, versus miniatures, which helps keep the price down, which is nice. If you're going to put a standee in, do acrylic, not cardboard.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, Transformer deck building game. Oh, go back to the last video to find out whether that still made my top 25.
So in this game,
I already explained why. I already explained.
But
yeah.
I like it because it is Disney. I like because you can choose your character. I do think that the way of keeping the score is very inventive, but is sometimes not very.
Oh, you need
helpful.
the hit points. The hit points.
The hit
Okay.
points, yeah.
Yeah, the score is just the little tokens points. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Sorry.
the hit point tracker. Yeah, and we talked about that during our first impressions. I think WizKids owns the clicky mechanism, and that's the next best way for them to do it, I guess.
And I think it's very, like, the cards are very complete. The discarded cards are going to help you upgrade your character as well.
Yep, I didn't
They have
mention that.
little colors.
So you kind of at times will choose to just use a card just to discard it because you want to use it for an upgrade.
Yes. The abilities that the characters have are different and nice. And I don't know, I think the whole game is just very...
Pretty much everything
tricky.
I said.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Disney Arena is nice. Made both of us, like I said, made both of our lists. And we're excited to play more with the new expansion. The new expansion has Jack Skellington, I think the pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean, and the witch, or the person from the Black Cauldron, I forget. But yeah, 3 more. And there's also another expansion they've already announced, but they haven't shown what characters are in it. So definitely excited to play more. ¿Y tú?
Yes, también.
Sure, también. So my number 17 game, I believe was on Adri's top 10 last year. It did not make my top 10. Don't know where it was. Again, forgot to keep the full running. But it is Raiders of the North Sea. I think this is my favorite of the North Sea game. Well, yeah, I know it's my favorite of the North Sea games. So Raiders of the North Sea is one in a trilogy. Unfortunately, not to say unfortunately, but it isn't the same as the other 3. So technically you don't have to play one versus the other to get it. But in this particular one, it is a worker placement game where you are trying to obtain resources, get victory points, go to Valhalla to get more victory points, and win at the end of the game. You're going to be taking your workers and building up to go out onto missions, basically raids, to other villages. And when you go up to those villages, you're going to do a raid, which allows you to upgrade your workers, which then allow you to go further and get more worker placement actions as you go. I have to say, very simple mechanics overall, considering we played this as one of our first worker placement type games. It's very fun, very interesting. Compared to the other 2, I just like it better. I like the theme. I like the Vikings and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And the art's great because, of course, it's by, some people say the Micho, but if I see M-I-C-O, I see Miko, which I don't know where he's from. I don't know if he's from Italy.
Miko is Italian. CH makes a k sound.
C makes a k.
C in Italian makes a ch sound.
So maybe he's Italian. So that's maybe why they say
if
Micho.
It is Miko. No, Micho is in Spanish.
M-I-C-O.
M-I-C-O is Miko.
In what?
In Spanish.
See.
Micho in Italian.
So maybe he's Italian. I don't know. I digress. This
is not what we're doing today.
You guys are doing language lesson 101. Let us know down in the comments, how do you pronounce his name? But I always say the Miko. The art's by him, great art. We love his art. Most games that have his art on it, of course, are going to draw our attention and be like, ooh, we're going to get that as well. Which all these Gameland games, the North Sea, the West Kingdom, and now the new South Tigris, all of them have that. They've done a great job with all of their games. Raiders is no exception to that. Definitely want to check out the new expansion, or not the new expansions, the expansions for this. Here it adds a lot of variety and more options, more things to do to build up your party of workers, right? But that is my number 17, Raiders of the North Sea.
My number 17 is Marvel Zombies, Heroes Resistance.
Marvel Zombies, Heroes Resistance.
You talk about it, right? No?
No, I haven't talked about Marvel Zombies. We talked about it in our top 10 games we played this year.
So Marvel Zombies, you have a board of the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your miniatures of your Marvel heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And you have zombies that appear on the street and you have to fight them. So you can move and decide who moves depending on the ability that each character has, which is something I like. It's cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so it can give you like a big amount of zombies, and then there are different types of zombies. Some are stronger than others.
Mm-hmm.
The more you level up, more zombies come out to the streets. So
yeah, so
more things
Hawk smashing Mucho Zombies was bad. Go watch our playthrough.
I think it's not. I like it because it is zombies, but it's not gross, and it's Marvel, and it is co-op, and it's not difficult. It's very difficult. I think once we played it, we played.
Oh no, yeah, we played that was a hard scenario. So we did play we played twice on the channel. Once was a Captain America scenario, which was the hard scenario, and then we played the regular, the first tutorial scenario. Actually, we played 3 because we played the tutorial, then we played actually mission 1. And that's the thing. There's a bunch of preset missions that you can play through. Simon or Kaman, again, let us know down below how you say that one. They make other missions that they post to their website every so often for the games. Now, we've got regular Marvel Zombies Heroes Resistance, and we have the full Marvel Zombies coming in. So we'll have to see how that, when we play the real game, because that was like a teaser game, we'll have to see how that affects your overall scoring.
Yep.
So number 17,
Marvel Zombies, Heroes Resistance.
Heroes Resistance. All right. And now the last one for this video. So make sure you hit subscribe so you can get past 16. Otherwise, you'll stop at 16 and be like, what happened?
15?
What is 15? What are they? So you need to subscribe. Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Or technically, I have to say Season 1 because that's all we played. But I have a really good feeling we'll like the other ones as well. I've heard most people like all of them about equally. And honestly, I played Pandemic. So I played Pandemic as one of my first hobby games. And I liked it. It was okay.
Pandemic.
No. I played not
before.
This. Yeah, before I met you. When at work, when they used to let us play board games at work on the weekends. Before I was so happy, yes. I played Pandemic and I thought, like, okay, this is okay. It's a nice little game. You're trying to stop it, but it's kind of a puzzle game. And if we've had these discussions, I don't like puzzle games as much, figuring out the puzzle. But Pandemic Legacy, I didn't mind that puzzle because every game changed. And the first Legacy game I played, which, oh, wait a minute. This should be on the list as well. Well, it should be. I can't necessarily say it would be on this list, but it should be on our rating because I played it and it's not on my BGG, so it didn't get pulled into Pub Meeple, which was Risk Legacy. And when I played Risk Legacy, I'm like, I like this. I'm okay with Risk, but I like this because it adds variety. It adds variability. And again, I don't know if I've said it in this video or if it was the previous video, I like change. I like things to be different every time I play a game. I've probably said it in every video. And Pandemic Legacy does that. So in Pandemic Legacy,
you keep just one life.
Yeah, as long as you keep one. Yes, just uno esposa. But in Pandemic, if you've never played Pandemic, it's been out forever, you are basically different types of workers. You're a medic or a military or whatever, and you can unlock more through the campaign. And you're trying to go from location to location to wipe out disease. and you use your abilities to wipe them out, whether it's just to cure or whether it's you're the medic, so you can cure all of them in one action. And then once you get them all eradicated, you need to take certain cards back to a medical facility so you can then find a cure and wipe that disease out. And you need to do all of that before the escalation track, is what I'll call it, basically gets to the top, right? And with the legacy, each decision, each action you make, win or lose, is going to cause you to change certain aspects of the game. Like, I don't know, you may make a virus that now is uncurable. So for the whole rest of the campaign, which takes place over 12 months, you can be at more than 12 plays, because again, win or lose, you now can't cure this one at all. It just basically can be kept at bay, right? So it just adds a lot of variability to the game, which I like. Season 2 is a sequel to this, I believe. And then Season 0 came out, and that is supposed to be like a prequel. Now, I've heard Season 2, they changed some of the mechanics. In Season 0, I think they changed all the mechanics. So we'll have to see. If you guys want to see us play Pandemic Season 2 or Season 0, comment down below, hit that subscribe button, and maybe you'll see us play that.
Yeah.
And your number 16?
My number 16 is Papillon. Papillon?
Espanol.
Mariposa. No, that's another game.
No, Papillon is the name of a butterfly, I think.
That is the word of butterfly in French.
Oh, that's a French butterfly. Okay,
So
so how
I
do you say
said
that?
papillon.
Papillon. Okay. See, that game is French. And Mariposa, which we have and we've not played yet.
Yeah,
so maybe,
that's a different game.
Subscribe.
You have to see all this. So in Papillon, you have tile placement, and you are going to create enclosed
areas.
Closed areas.
They're like flower
colors of
bushes.
flowers.
Yeah.
Flower colors. So they're red, purple, also just grass.
Yeah.
And that is going to help you win. So you can place a butterfly
Based on the size of your flowers.
based on the size of the flowers. Oh, there are trees that are 3D. That was an important.
I think they're supposed to be flower bushes. They look like
Oh,
trees.
they look like trees.
Okay, so they're trees.
And the butterflies have a pin system. I don't know what to call it.
It's a tiny closed pit.
Yeah, tiny clothespin, and then you
Good.
on the on the bush.
The
or
flower
tree
tree bush thing.
And then the more butterflies you have on the trees, the better for you to
So
score.
it's area control on those bushes. There's a little marker at the bottom that says how many points based on the number of players that have butterflies on there. But yeah, so it's a tile placement game, which you like. It is pretty and colorful, which you like.
Which I like. Has mariposas, which
It's
I like.
got area
from far.
control, which so far neither one of us really like, but you seem to keep adding area control games to your to your list. You had Brew in the last set.
But because it has other things as well.
Okay, the other things make it better.
Or maybe the theme makes me like it. I still don't know. I still don't know who I am.
You still don't know. I can see what kind you like abstract strategy, you like tile placement, you like puzzly type games, you like the worker placement where you get to go out and choose different things you get to do. You like that choice and variety of things to do. So
Yes.
most of your games seem to fit under that guise. So if you like those types of games, you want to see what the rest of Adri's top 25 games of all time is, what do they need to do?
You need to subscribe, activate notifications,
Notifications!
follow us on social media.
Yes, that too.
And
all that stuff. Until next time, guys.
Adios.
Peace.